Okay, so the crazy storm has passed, the reason we came in here, and now we're starting to do some weird circles because it's
turn of the tide, isn't it?
Yeah, slack tide and there's not too much wind, so we're just spinning, doing little pirouettes.
Anyway, time to get out of here, so we're going to move on to Albert Town. It's not very far, it's about 6 miles in this direction.
You ready to move this boat?
'Cause I am a barefoot man, barefoot to make my stand. I bare my soul for all the world to see, yeah. I am a barefoot man, feet planted firmly in the sand. Bare your souls, come along with me. Lose your shoes, lose your blues, come along with me.
So this location definitely served a purpose, but I'm looking forward to a change in scenery. We were a little bit close to shore. Here, leaving this cut, it's much nicer today than it looked yesterday. In the Bahamas, you can get what they call a rage. So if you get wind against tide, you can get really big standing waves. We watched a catamaran leave yesterday, and it didn't look too comfortable leaving out of here. So that's another reason why we waited a day. Sometimes, even if you want to get moving, you gotta stay that extra day for the extra comfort and safety for your vessel. It's flat calm out here today. That catamaran had a rough shot yesterday.
Man, that looked horrible yesterday. Glad I wasn't on that boat.
This is beautiful and calm. So there's still a little bit of current coming in?
There is still a little bit of current coming in, that's for sure. Now we're in the deeper channel area. I think once we get past this...
We're only doing 4 knots.
Yeah, I know.
And we're doing our normal 22.
We're doing pretty much our normal 22 revs.
Normally we get 6 knots.
Yep.
It's all about timing.
Still a bit of a swell though.
Yeah. Well, we knew that. It was going to be a little bit confused seas today because of that big weather we just had.
See how comfortable it is when we put an anchor down.
Yeah, it might be a bit
annoying.
That's what I was thinking, but
hey.
We live on a boat.
Yeah.
You gotta be used to a little bit of swell, or why are you out here? We made it across the shallows. So when we went in there, we went in at dead low tide, and I think we had about 5.5 feet.
Yeah, 5'2" was the lowest we saw.
Yeah, 5'2" was the lowest that we saw. Coming out, we're coming out on a high tide, which is probably a better decision. So we have 2 feet on top of that. So it's been a nice, easy way out. Nothing to worry about. Just gotta dodge a few bummies, and then we can turn left and head south. Oh, I see it.
Doesn't look very big though. Feels heavy. Must be something smaller that's foul hooked or something.
Can you tell people where to fish on?
I said I'm gonna have to come back on the radio because there's something on my fishing line. Just turn off autopilot, so stand by, and put us in neutral. Just bob around. Barracuda. Foul hooks in the head. Just because he was foul hooked in the head.
find myself wondering what did happen to the last 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set them rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs.
So a bit of an update. When we left the other day, we were headed for Albertown, but because of that big weather that we had with the lightning storms, there was big swells, so it made it uncomfortable up that area. So we ended up pushing on 35 miles to Jamaica Bay down at the bottom of the Acklins Islands. We've been sat here for a couple days now, but the swell is quite large, so we're gonna try and find an anchorage 5 miles from here at Castle Island. If that's no good, we might be forced to head to Great Inagua, Man of War Bay. So it could be a 5-mile hop or it could be a 78-mile hop. We're not sure yet, but you never know.
Yeah, we're kind of prepared. The other option from that is that we ignore Great Inagua and go straight for Luperon in the Dominican Republic. So I don't know. We'll keep you updated as we change our minds on passage today.
That's why you gotta be open to change when you live on a boat. It's been beautiful here, but very rocky bottom, so it's not the best anchorage because your anchor just sits there all sad on the sand at the bottom. The 2 inches of sand and then concrete. So unfortunately, as of late, we have been having some issues with our GoPros. The batteries have been saying they're at like 80%, and then all of a sudden the GoPro dies and doesn't film what we want to film. So we've been dealing with that issue a little bit, so we don't have some of the footage that we thought we had when we left Jamaica Bay and heading on to Matthewtown. So spoiler alert, we are here in the Dominican Republic already, but I feel like it's important to tell you a little bit about our story of what happened when we left Jamaica Bay. So Jamaica Bay was a really, really rocky bottom. It wasn't the best anchorage, but at the end of the day, if we were gonna drag, we would have dragged out to sea. So we were all right. So we left there and we headed towards Castle Island at the bottom of the Acklins. When we passed through there, it was actually really cool footage, and I'm super sad that we missed it because the waves were crashing around the south point of the island. There were some massive rollers, and to get into the anchorage at the bottom of the Acklins, you had to kind of go close around the point and go in. So with the binoculars, we were able to see the huge, like insanely huge crashing waves, and the anchorage didn't look like it was going to be comfortable. So instead of doing the 6-mile hop that we thought we were going to do, we ended up doing, I think it was 14 hours, and we arrived in Matthewtown at 2 a.m. So it was a really long day. It was uneventful. It was relatively calm out there, but it was just a really, really long day. No fish were caught, so there wasn't really much going on. So one of our buddy boats, they had actually moved ahead of us because they really didn't like the anchorage in Jamaica Bay. So they had left a couple days earlier and got to Matthewtown. So they actually left for Luperon the morning we arrived in Great Inagua. It could have been a good crossing for us as well, but we were exhausted after arriving at 2 a.m. and we just weren't ready to make the jump that same day. So we ended up spending a week in Great Inagua. We went into the marina at Matthewtown to fill up our water tanks, as our water maker is still out of commission. Then we went back up to Man of War Bay, where we did some paddleboarding and we did some exploring around there. We've been filming and putting everything on YouTube for a long time. Sometimes it is nice to not grab a camera. Sorry to say, but sometimes it's nice to just enjoy what we're doing out here, and especially because it's been our last week in the Bahamas. We just wanted to spend that time enjoying it for ourselves. So after we spent about a week in Great Inagua, we finally had another weather window to make the jump to Luperon. We're fair weather people. We like to go when it's nice and calm, where on windy it's like blue screens, there's like no wind whatsoever. So we finally had one of these opportunities come up. Okay, so we are underway. I should have been filming before because we just pulled up anchor in Man of War Bay, and the anchor chain was stuck around just a little rock. So we had to maneuver the boat around the rock. I thought Davy was gonna have to go for a swim for a moment, but luckily we were able to move the vessel around the rock and pull up the chain. And now we are en route. It could be a 6-hour day, or it could be a 29-hour day. So let's see how it goes. It's still dark. Sunrise is in about an hour, and yeah, let's get going. I don't know if we can see you up there.
Yeah, I'm sure you can see me. Morning, guys. En route. Should turn that iPad down. I got to learn how to turn the brightness down on that thing. But yeah, we got Carl there up ahead. Erica just told you we don't know. I reckon we're probably going to jump all the way to Lupron, unless when we get around the corner, which is in about 2 hours time, where the lighthouse is, we stick our nose out there. If it's not exactly what we want, then we'll go to a closer anchorage and then do it again tomorrow. But I don't know. Let's see.
So after that clip that you just saw, we did pull up anchor early in the morning. We thought we were gonna head to Lupron, but we poked our head around the bottom of Great Inagua, and as soon as we got out there, the waves were a little bit bigger than we had hoped for, a little bit bigger than predicted, and we kept going for about an hour. Neither us or our buddy Carl on Bugging Out could make up our minds whether or not we wanted to continue bashing into it or turn around and wait for the next day. Finally, after about an hour, we were only getting like 3.8 knots climbing up the waves, and we weren't even getting good speeds when we were surfing down them. So we sent Carl a message that we were going to turn around and we were going to wait until the next day. Thank God we waited till the next day, because when we poked our head around on Friday, it was beautiful. It was flat calm out there, and we had such a great crossing coming to the Dominican Republic. So it took us about 31 hours, and it was flat calm. It was beautiful. We were able to do a couple hours on and off, so we were both able to get some rest, and it was overall a really good crossing, except for all the cruise ships at nighttime. So speaking of the cruise ships at nighttime, it's one of those weird phenomenons where during daytime you don't see any other boats. As soon as it gets dark, you see boats everywhere. There was so many lights passing by us. Cruise ships are so hard to read at nighttime because they have so much light on them, so you cannot see their navigation lights. So trying to figure out how to see them on AIS was something fun. Luckily, it was only about 3 hours where we had a lot of shipping traffic going past us, and then there was nothing after that. But it definitely added an element of fun to the crossing. Foxy did really, really well on the crossing. She even went P and number 2 underway, which we're super proud of her for. Yes, we are. So she did really, really well. She was nice and calm for most of the trip. Okay. So we wanted to do a bit of a real-time update now that we have got here in Lupron. We have been insanely busy catching up with old and new friends. As you know, we have spent a lot of time here in the past. During COVID, I think we were here for nearly 2 years. So it's been really, really nice to meet up with some of our old friends from here. We have decided that this is the end of season 5. It's been a fantastic journey through the Bahamas, the States, back through the Bahamas and back down here to the Dominican Republic. And we are going to take about a month break from producing videos. 1, for our sanity. 2, so we can kind of get back into the swing of things here in Lupron, and 3, so we can start planning for future videos and where we want our channel to go in the future. So we hope you've enjoyed this week's episode, and stay tuned for season 6, coming to you soon.
'Cause I am a barefoot man, barefoot I make my stand. I bare my souls for all the world to see, yeah. I am a barefoot man, feet planted firmly in the sand. Bare your souls, come along with me. Lose your shoes, lose your blues, come along with me.